Hi, I am making this video because me typing an alliance chat isn't going over as well as it should be because I'm just not good at this kind of thing sometimes, and right now is one of those times. So, anyways, where was I? Yes, strategy. I am aware that I've been failing in certain areas, and I need to work on that. And I want everybody to know that they can do it. And they can actually. Here's why. When it comes to strategy, when it comes to winning anyways, there's a trifecta. There's 3 things you need if you want to truly be a dominant force. You lack in any 3 of those things and you're just waiting for somebody who's more well-rounded to tear you off your high force and humble you. And that can be us. That can be us. We can humble these people. They think they're stronger than us now. Well, they're only strong now because they have the illusion that they're powerful and unbeatable. But those people are in fact not unbeatable. They are very beatable, and we will whoop their butts. You might not think we will, but we definitely will. And that's because the trifecta comes in 3 parts. First part of the trifecta, and this is super important. It's power. That's right. Your power. It's not just power either, it's numbers. Because here's the fact. If you're weak, you're weak. You're at a disadvantage because you're weak. And if you don't have enough people, you're also weak. Because if you have like 4 whales, that doesn't mean anything because you're outnumbered. And even if you have all that power, one alliance that's just, decent and well-rounded will still whoop your butt with all 3 of your whales doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because they'll just get swarmed. So yeah. Being the biggest guy, not going to help you. Having all of the people, not going to help you. You know why it's not going to help you? Because somebody with a strategy will come in and once again whoop your butt. Or let's say you have an alliance of 100 people and all of them are whales. You might go, ha 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 ha, we are going to win. But at the same time, if all of those people are highly inactive and they don't communicate, somebody can just offline your butts and whoop you anyways. Yeah. Because that strategy there, they'll just offline you and whoop you anyways. So you're not going to win that way either, by the way. No, there's no such thing as an unbeatable army if you only have 1 of the trifecta. There's no such thing as an unbeatable army if you only have 2. Because, unfortunately, you'll still get whooped. So let's say you have an army full of whales. Just all the whales. All the whales. Let's say you have a full alliance. Everyone's online. Absolutely all of them are online. And they're all whales. They're all whales. All 100 of them. Yeah, that sucks. That's an almost impossible situation to get out of. Or is it? And here's why I say, or is it? Because that leads us to the 3rd part of the trifecta. Communication and strategy. That's right, with good leadership you can do just about anything. You also need good communication, of course, but that's a given. Anyways, where was I? Let's say you have all these whales online. You know what you could do? Get 10 whales. Get 10 whales. Get 10 of them. All 10 of your whales. You want me to tell you what those 10 whales are going to do? They're going to teleport in on these hundreds of whales. They're going to do it by surprise. 5 of them are going to be shielded and reinforcing the other 5. And the 5 that aren't shielded, they're just going to attack and they're going to do it super fast. Get the fuck out with teleportations before any major damage can be done to them. Because they just went in by surprise. And they can just keep doing this, going in and out, in and out, in and out, and in and out repeatedly until eventually the alliance they're up against is completely dwindled. Because guess what? they're not going to be able to do much with that kind of power, so focused, so pinpointed, so strategized, and so well organized with the kind of communication and belief in themselves, because they're well organized and they believe in themselves. And because they believe in themselves and they think they're going to win, they're not going to hold back. They're going to charge into those attacks. They're going to be like, oh, what are you going to do? Burn us? And then they're just going to go in and burn you. Or maybe you have the best strategist in the world. You have the best strategist in the world, and you have 100 whales. You got the best strategist in the world and 100 whales. Oh, I'm sorry about this here. They're low on morale. Maybe they're like, I hate this game, or I'm bored. And many of them aren't online. Well, fuck that. They just get destroyed. They get destroyed. Because it doesn't matter if the strategist is amazing, if they think they're going to have like 30 people online and they only have 12. You know, they're still going to get their butt whooped by somebody who's, you know, well organized. Well organized. You still get your butt whooped. Or maybe you have an incredibly active alliance. You have an incredibly active alliance and you're organized. Ooh, you know, like they're super active, but they're all weak. They're all weak. They are all weak, but there's a lot of them. They're super well organized, and they're communicating, and they're all super hyped. Great. They still lose. Because you want me to tell you what's going to happen instead? Somebody who's got a bunch of whales, somebody who's got, like, I don't know, let's say, 50 whales. They have 50 whales, and along with their 50 whales, you know, most of them are usually online, so, you know, realistically speaking, they only have 12 whales right now. But, you know, they're decently organized. They have decent leadership. And, you know, they're not even like top tier whales. Maybe they're just like mediocre whales. But you got mediocre whales with like mediocre timing and communication and hype and like strategy. They're still gonna win because like you're all of your guys are weak. They're all just weak, bottom of the barrel. They're all gonna die anyways, you know, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. If you have two of the things and they're god tier, but the other thing is borderline non-existent, you get wiped. You get wiped by any well-rounded army, any well-rounded force. Okay. That's just a fact. It's not even like a game of rock, paper, scissors. It's like a balancing act. It's like a balancing act in the trifecta, because you need to balance it on like the point of a pencil, right? Imagine that. Yeah, imagine like it's weights, right? Like you got a triangle and it's balancing on a pencil and it's got weights on the three corners, and you need to carefully balance the weights on the tip of the pencil, and the more well balanced they are on the tip of the pencil, the more optimized your alliance is, the more optimized your fighting force is, and the closer they are to unstoppable. Because if they have that and they're super well balanced, they can punch well above their weight class. It's true. They will punch high above their weight class, because that's just how life works. I would say unfortunately, but really it gives the underdogs an advantage, and I love that. And there's many ways how you can take advantage of the enemy team being unbalanced. There are many different ways you can do it. There's no specific strategy to go, oh, I'm gonna win, or whatever, because the fact is, if you're a well-rounded fighting force, you have all your cards on the table, buddy. There's nothing specific you do, because you're well-rounded. You can whoop them in any direction you want. Target anything. You don't fucking care. You got all of it. You might not have an advantage in this area or this area, but you got an advantage here. But the real advantage is the fact that you don't have a disadvantage. You don't have anything they can really point at as a weak spot. You know? Like, if they're missing one third of the trifecta, there's a glaring weak spot right there. The thing you strike is obvious. It's obvious, and it's in the face of any decent enough strategist, right? You might think I'm wrong. I'm not. Like, if you look at Desert Storm Team A today, you want me to tell you what our enemy's weakness was that I saw? The glaring weakness staring me in the face, and I was like, we could have capitalized on that super easily and whooped them. You want me to tell you what it was? They kept spreading themselves in stupid ways. They were not organized. They were behaving stupidly. They had 5 people on the center area, and you might go, yeah, they had 5 people in the center area. Yeah, but that's 5 people not where the people who are actually getting attacked are. You know? Oh, they have 5 people on the center area. Yeah, that's 5 people not fighting at all. That's how they could have whooped them. I literally saw locations where there was nobody, not a single person. Not a single person was on there. I was like, I'm just going to walk in and take this point. I only have 500 troops. And I'm a weak player, but I'm just going to walk in because literally nobody's there. And I did it, and I captured the point. Why? Because no one was there. Because nobody was there. Painful easy. Can you imagine what we could do? What we could have done if we had Can you imagine what we could have done if where am I getting at with this again? So people who fight. How do I word this again? So with all of them gathered in these areas, because they were all gathered in specific areas, right? And they weren't really all that organized. All it would really take is if we gathered, hell, for that matter, 4 people. 4 people would have been enough. 4 people to just gather up in one spot and just keep teleporting like crackheads to the next location repeatedly. Yeah, would we have been able to gather and keep one spot for that long? No, we wouldn't, but it doesn't matter because it's the counter to their strategy, which is fucking abysmal. They had a direct counter. They had a painfully obvious direct counter because they had a weakness with coordination. The reason why we failed was because we also had a weakness in that coordination. Okay, because they had 2/3 of the trifecta and we didn't have the counter to it, to the weakness of their trifecta. We didn't have that. If we did, we would have won GG easy, clean sweep. Because that's the truth. One little tiny little failure in your armor, in the trifecta, and you leave yourself a glaring weakness to an outside perspective. Okay, it's true. For them it was, we're leaving a whole bunch of spots open where people can attack, and because they have this swarm mentality, we had 2 opposing mentalities, by the way. I believe we were spreading ourselves a bit too thin, honestly, and they were trying to swarm into 1, 2, maybe 3 areas, right? Probably 3 or 4 areas. And you might go, oh, well, whatever, but the thing is, if we do it right, we would be moving in and out super fast before they could recognize what we're doing. As a matter of fact, and here's an easy way we could have done it, if you're worried, but they could attack us when we teleport away. You want me to tell you the secret? Don't attack until your teleports are clear. And you might go, what do you mean? Well, because you get a free teleport. So, hypothetically speaking, you sit on a spot, you make sure they don't know you're there, you attack that spot, then you move to the next spot. Okay, you attack once your teleports are clear. Then you know what you do? You attack it, Then you teleport to the next spot immediately while they don't even know what you just did. You pull out, you go to the next spot, and you just keep doing this in a circle. You might go, we're not winning if we do that. And they'll be like, maybe, but you're keeping them distracted. They'll be distracted trying to catch up with this one group that a second group or even a third group can just do whatever they want with the massive opening left behind by their swarm mentality. See what I mean? See what I mean? See what I mean? It's not that hard. It's quite simple. It's quite simple. It's quite simple. Would they have caught on? Yes. But then they would change their strategy and leave another weakness open. They would have left another weakness open, and we would have utilized that. And we could have just kept doing that, and at the very minimum, we would have been a massive thorn in their side. Massive, glaring, annoying little thorn in their side that they just can't get rid of. And even if we lost, we would have won because they had stronger players than us, supposedly. I didn't see them. But, supposedly they would have been like super stronger than us, and they definitely had a lot more people than us, almost twice as many for a bit. We'd just sit there and we'd be like, buddy, you're stronger than us, you got more people than us, why are you losing? Why are you doing so bad? You should be getting a clean sweep, shouldn't you, little guy? And they didn't. They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have gotten that clean sweep. They would have been annoyed. They would have been super humble. And I'm going to be honest with you, even if you don't win, if you manage to really humble your enemy, that's still a win. That is still a win. That is something to brag about. Humbling an enemy superior to yourself. There's no greater win than that. I'm not going to lie. No greater win. Other than actually winning against an enemy who's superior to yourself. But at least, humbling them. Massive, awesome, love it. Everybody loves it. We could have done that. I'm not angry that we didn't. I'm aware that we should have prepared better beforehand, and we were missing an Atrifecta as well. But we could do it next time. We can do it. We could whoop them. We could whoop them in every single way. Every single way. It would be easy. We would win. They would lose. It'd be great. We laugh at them. They get pissed off at us. We troll them. And then as we troll them, we lower their morale because they're getting mad, they're getting embarrassed, they're irritated. When they're low on morale, they're either quitting the game, they're not talking and organizing or whatever. They're just freaking out, and we win even better next time around because they're just too embarrassed. And that's how you do that. Humble your enemy. Make them feel like they failed miserably, make their morale sink and plummet, and use your advantage of understanding the trifecta and win against stronger opponents anyways, because you know they have a weakness and it makes them suck. And that is my little TED Talk for today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.